Hello and welcome to this episode where I go exploring the coastal walks along Le Grand National Park. I started one day from Lucky Bay and went all the way over to Le Grand Beach via Thistle Cove, Hellfire Bay, and Pete and Angus came and picked me up in the truck and we had lunch on the beach there. Quite a few people over there, a little bit more protected from the wind on the west side there. On another day, I did do the return one from Lucky Bay to Rossiter Bay. That bay had a little bit more seaweed on it, so it wasn't as nice as the actual Lucky Bay one. And for those of you who do like climbing, there is a peak that you can go up. We didn't particularly go up that one. I shouldn't say we, because nobody actually chose to come walking with me. So let's see what I saw. I am heading over to Thistle Cove at the beginning of my journey from the western end of Lucky Bay past Matthew Flinders Monument, up some gentle sloping steps, so the hike is pretty easy at the moment. Depending on the season, you can go past some wildflowers. These beautiful verticordias were out, which was gorgeous. Some purple peas and these cute little red flowers coming up that were just hidden in a little rock crevice. I have got no idea of their identification. I've looked it up in my book, but to no avail because it didn't have every plant in history. You might see some Christmas trees depending upon the time of year, and the general geography is pretty much about granite rock face. So you'll see big boulders, big sloping rock with lichen and that on it all over the place. At the entrance to Thistle Cove, you have Whistling Rock, which is this giant rock that protrudes out. The wind will blow through the cracks and create a whistling sound. I think I didn't record it, but yeah. Here's Thistle Cove, gorgeous, slightly protected on this end with that big rock face that leads down. Scattered around the walk, you will often see the Aboriginal dreaming story depicted in pictures. I've actually downloaded a better version of the one because, of course, the sun has actually dried out the one that I did photograph. The dreaming story is actually about two children who had actually stolen an eagle's eggs, and they were dragged out to sea, and as they kept trying to swim back to shore, they were carried back out to sea. Now, at the end of Thistle Cove, the track actually starts to get a little bit harder. So be prepared to scramble over rocks as you've got to go a little bit more vertical, and just keep looking out for those markers. Now you might be asking yourself, why on earth am I looking in the water? Well, I actually found this amazingly red crab Of course, I was trying to sneak up on it to get a good photo of it, but it, of course, somehow sensed I was there, so quickly scrambled away. I crouched down on all fours, well, which is pretty uncomfortable on these bloody rocks because my hips kept going, so to try and see if he would come out, but no. So I'm happily just walking along as you casually do, and lo and behold, I just about had a friggin' heart attack. Out came this whopping great big lizard. It is honestly about 2 feet long, and I think I just about jumped out of my skin. I don't know what he thought, but anyway. Welcome to Hellfire Bay, which is the last beach you actually walk along on this until you get to the end. You can just see over in the back corner there's a little Hellfire Bay, which is actually a little bit more secluded than this main beach, which is actually easily accessible by car. The end of the beach scramble up this big rock is a little bit of a challenge, especially when it's windy and you're trying to camera and film yourself and the wind's blowing. Then you've got to avoid people coming the other way. So yes, beautiful. Heading westwards, you will actually go around the Legrand mountain, in inverted commas, about 300 metres high. Again, on the lookout for wildflowers. I love seeing what is actually out there. I couldn't actually identify these, but I tell you what did stick out was this amazing, weird looking nut. It almost looked like something, a creature from outer space. It was so interesting, and up close it looks like it's actually got an angry face. Found out later, this is its flower, and then it will have like these pods, probably the pods before the flower, and then this is the end result, the actual nut. How amazing is that? I actually found one actually back in the campground. Finally reached where I could actually see the Legrand beach going along that stretch there. And funny enough, I was actually at about the time going, I wonder if I can, wouldn't it be funny if I could just see Pete coming along? Would you believe it? I look over and there's our truck. You can just see it coming into view. It was like, oh my God, there he is, like a good hour early, which is better than late. So, I kept walking. He'd already parked up on the beach. Like a lot of people do at the Legrand there, waiting for me to get down the bottom. And when you finally get to the end of the actual coastal trail, you arrive at Legrand Beach here, which will actually go for about another 26 kilometres long if you really want to go along and drive along there. It looks pretty hard and flat. However, we just stopped, had lunch. Second walk I did, which is actually going eastward. So here where the arrow is, from our campsite over to Rossiter Bay, you actually go along the whole Lucky Bay here that you can see. There's a few little Christmas trees out there, those yellow ones in Australia. And again, very similar heath, big rocks, but this day when I did it, it was actually a lot nicer. There was a lot more blue sky. It looks beautiful. Enjoy. I like hiking because I can do it by myself, and I'm happy to do it by myself because I do love the serenity. I do take precautions, of course, but what I find really fascinating is that on these two little hikes, I actually bumped into the same lady. We were both going two completely different directions, but we crossed each other's paths on 2 different days, and it was just, it's amusing when you can have a light laugh while you're on the track. So the whole of the grand hiking trail, the coastal trail, can actually be broken up into about 4 different separate parts. So you don't have to do it all in one day. You can take your time, camp, and just do various little sections or day trips. Awesome. So thanks so much for watching our little video, and we look forward to seeing you next time, and don't forget to subscribe. Bye.